Every like you've ever clicked on Facebook tells a story. It reveals more about you than you could ever imagine. It can predict your politics, your sexuality, and even your neuroticism. A data firm called Cambridge Analytica proved this. They turned those likes into a tool to predict and then influence your behavior. Before there was Cambridge Analytica, there was the SCL Group. SCL was not a normal marketing firm. Their business was psychological warfare. For decades, they worked for militaries and political clients around the globe. They claimed to influence elections, destabilize populations, and change public perception. They were, in effect, professional propagandists. But SCL had a new, ambitious vision. They wanted to bring their battlefield tactics to the heart of American politics. To do this, they needed two things: massive funding and a new ideology. The money came from billionaire Robert Mercer. The ideology came from Steve Bannon. Together, they formed a new company, Cambridge Analytica. Their goal was to revolutionize politics. They believed traditional political marketing was dead. Targeting white women in Ohio or suburban dads was useless. That was demographics. The future, they argued, was psychographics. Why just know where someone lives? Why not know who they are? Are they open-minded? Are they neurotic? Are they easily swayed by fear? That was the true key to power. They had a theory of how to build a psychological weapon, but they needed two things to build it: a massive, unprecedented database of human personalities and a brilliant data scientist to make sense of it all. The data scientist they found was Christopher Wiley. Wiley was a young Canadian with a fascination for data and culture. He saw how data could be used to predict and change society. He became Cambridge Analytica's director of research, but Wiley couldn't get the data directly from Facebook. To do that, they needed an academic. They found their man in Alexander Kogan. Kogan was a psychology academic at Cambridge University. He was given funding and a simple task: build an app to harvest Facebook data. Kogan created a personality quiz called "This Is Your Digital Life." It was one of hundreds of trivial quizzes on the platform at the time. He labeled it as a tool for academic research. This research label was the key. It was a loophole that allowed the app to operate under a different, more permissive set of rules. Users were paid a small amount, maybe $1 or $2, to take the quiz. In doing so, they gave Kogan's app permission to access their Facebook profile. The quiz was the bait. But the 270,000 people who took it weren't the real target. The real prize was everyone they knew. So how did 270,000 quiz takers lead to a data heist of 87 million people? The answer wasn't a hack. It was a feature. It was called Facebook's Graph API. Think of an API as a digital doorway. It's a set of rules that lets apps talk to Facebook's servers. At the time, this doorway was left wide open by design. When a user like one of Kogan's 270,000 gave his app permission, they weren't just giving permission for themselves. They were also giving the app permission to access the data of all of their friends. Facebook's entire platform was built on this idea of a social graph. The system encouraged this kind of mass data sharing. It was how apps went viral. Let's do the math. One user takes the quiz. That user has an average of, say, 300 friends. The app scrapes the user's data and the public data of those 300 friends. Now multiply that by 270,000. Suddenly, one small quiz app had a spiderweb of connections, accessing the profiles of up to 87 million Americans. This is the core of the scandal. Cambridge Analytica didn't hack Facebook. Facebook lost control of the data because they built a system that gave it away. Kogan now had the raw data, a chaotic, massive ocean of likes, personal details, and friend networks. But raw data is useless. It needed to be refined. It needed to be turned into a weapon. The data Kogan delivered was chaotic, but inside it, Cambridge Analytica believed was a revolutionary secret. The plan was to merge psychology with data science. They started with the 270,000 people who actually took the personality quiz. This gave them a Rosetta Stone. They had this group's full personality scores, and they had this group's entire Facebook like history. They fed this information into a model. The goal, to find out what your likes say about your personality. The system was built on a standard psychological framework. It's called the OCEAN model. It measures the 5 core personality traits. Openness, how open are you to new experiences? Conscientiousness, how organized and dependable are you? Extroversion, how much do you seek out social interaction? Agreeableness, how cooperative and compassionate are you? Neuroticism, how prone are you to anxiety, worry, and fear? The model found stunning correlations. Liking Hello Kitty or I Hate Israel was a strong predictor of high neuroticism. Liking The Daily Show was a sign of high openness. Suddenly, just by looking at a user's likes, the company could build a scarily accurate psychological profile, and they had the likes for 87 million people. As whistleblower Christopher Wiley put it, we exploited Facebook to harvest millions of people's profiles and built models to exploit what we knew about them and target their inner demons. The weapon was complete. They now had a database of 87 million American personalities. They believed they could identify persuadable voters and send them custom-made messages of fear, anger, or hope. Now they just needed a client. With their database built, Cambridge Analytica went looking for clients. They found them. The firm was hired by the Vote Leave campaign in the UK's 2016 Brexit referendum. They were also hired by the 2016 Trump presidential campaign. Now their theories were put to the test. Their alleged strategy was not to just send Vote for Trump ads. It was to use their psychographic profiles for behavioral micro-targeting. If their models flagged a voter as high in neuroticism, they might be shown ads based on fear. Ads about the deep state or waves of uncontrolled immigration. If a voter was high in conscientiousness, they might see ads about tradition and duty. It was a campaign designed to find a person's inner demons and build a message just for them. For 2 years, this operation ran in the shadows. Then, in March 2018, the story exploded. Christopher Wiley went public. The Guardian and the New York Times published his confession simultaneously. The bombshells dropped one after another: the 87 million harvested profiles, the secret models, the link to Bannon and Mercer. As the world was reeling, Britain's Channel 4 News dropped another bomb. They had sent an undercover reporter to meet with CA's CEO, Alexander Nix. The secret footage was a PR disaster. Nix was caught on camera boasting about the company's dirty tricks. He talked about using honey traps, sending some girls around to the candidate's house. He bragged about using bribes and staging propaganda. He was the public face of a shadowy firm, admitting to everything the public feared. The fallout was immediate and catastrophic. Facebook's stock price plummeted, wiping over $100 billion from its value in days. A terrified Mark Zuckerberg was dragged before Congress. He endured 10 hours of grilling, apologizing for the big mistake. Cambridge Analytica, exposed and toxic, lost all its clients. In May 2018, it filed for bankruptcy. Later, Facebook was hit with a record-breaking $5 billion fine. The company was dead. The CEO was disgraced. Facebook was fined. But the biggest question of all still remained. The company was dead. The stock had plummeted. The fine was paid. But the most important question remained: did it actually work? Was Cambridge Analytica's psychological weapon a revolutionary tool that changed the course of history? Or was it all just high-tech snake oil? Many data scientists and political experts are skeptical. They argue the psychographic models were unstable. They claim the dirty tricks boasted by Alexander Nix were just a slick marketing pitch to win over clients like the Mercers and Bannon. To them, the firm's real work was just standard, aggressive digital marketing. But here is the real, uncomfortable truth. It doesn't matter if it worked. The scandal proved that the system exists. It proved that Facebook had built the most powerful surveillance machine in human history. A machine where your data could be harvested without your consent. A machine where your personality could be modeled, packaged, and sold to the highest bidder. Cambridge Analytica may be gone, but the machine they exploited is still here, and it's all powered by a simple, innocent-looking button: the like button.